Hello, world. How are you all? I am feeling this moon. This feels like a big, big moon. It's The skies are covered here, so I can't see it. Unfortunately, I'm sure some places in the world, probably not Ireland, it's looking quite beautiful in the sky. Um, yeah, so it's Wednesday, but it's a big Leo moon, and there's lots of very interesting astrology around it as well, which is highly spiritual, highly deepening, I guess. And the energy of the full moon is so potent. Anyway, it's our time of the cycle when we really allow ourselves to become illuminated and to see the parts of ourselves that we might not usually allow to be witnessed and felt and experienced. And yeah, so often I guess it's a time that, especially for people who feel very linked to the moon, who are moony type of people, I'm definitely a moon child. Um, we can feel this as we approach the full moon, and I think there's a lot of Uranian energy at the moment building as well. Um, I'm not an astrologer, but I follow it a lot. I feel that it really is, quite a map, quite a mirror um, for our journey. Not that it's guiding us or we're guiding the planets, but that there's just this interface, this beautiful synchronicity, and I guess I guess in a way, it's kind of like thinking about destiny or fate, or our path and our contract to be here. Um, how that has sort of a map for us, but there's movement within that. And I guess the planets are a similar kind of relationship where um, they're a part of that conversation, and we're in that dynamic relationship of shifting cycles and change and um, moving parameters. And I just think this is a time where the parameters within us are just shifting and moving at a much more rapid pace, with much more depth and frequency, and really asking much more of us in terms of our embodiment. Um, when you look over the sort of the more recent human history or culture, evolving culture of humanity in the last, few hundred years, there's been this slow sort of disembodiment and dissolution, loss of the ancient ways or the understandings of um, indigenous cultures, the stories, I guess, that are shared and handed down through family from generation to generation, from the elders through to the next generation, which held the alchemy and the medicine, not just of the land, not just of the people, but of the soul. And I think that, I even live in a town which it's a beautiful town, and there are elders within it, but it's, for me personally anyway, it's harder to connect with that diversity. I feel that it's a harder thing to do, to reach out, unless you're within a family or you have direct connections to a certain lineage, to some sort of relationship. For me, I find it much harder to reach out to all the generations, to reach out for that sense of community and that sense of like wholeness that we get um, when we have all those generations together in synchronicity, feeding into one another. The vibrancy of childhood, the dynamic nature of I guess, the sort of the stage of the maiden, or the, the evolving adult, and then moving, through those later pastures and into the realm of the crone and the elder, and these, all of these stages, they feed into one another, and they're sort of a liminal blanket of knowledge and wisdom and grace, a tapestry of like wealth that we can share through just the presence and community and shared understanding of life. And I guess that people are trying to return to that, and trying to experience that more and more. But it is a challenge because our culture doesn't easily allow for it. Even the way our housing is set up. I mean, I'm not there now, but we do normally live in New Zealand, and we live off grid. And we live within a beautiful community, and we're really, really lucky to be able to share that experience. We don't share so much of our, I guess we're all separate and individual in terms of our facilities and everything like that, but we have that sense of support in a shared land, and a shared understanding of doing life together to a certain degree, and I feel it's just a really beautiful opportunity. And I know there's so many people who go further again, and they're in more in communities which are even more sort of, I know it has its challenges too. I'm not saying that it doesn't. It's definitely being in that close relationship in life with people. You can definitely meet with yourself in a much deeper, more profound way through the challenges of interactions and the mirroring of relationship. But where am I going with this? It just seems to have grown legs. Yeah, so I guess I'm ruminating on that because we're actually flying back to New Zealand on later on in the month, and I'm leaving my parents who I've been spending a few months with, and also within that, family, there's the older generation and the diversity of and the beauty of being with family, and I'm heading into a different sort of environment, and I'm just honoring that. I'm honoring within myself that it's a really interesting time, because for me personally, acknowledging that as we move away from our community, as we move away from our parents, our original family, we step into, and it doesn't really matter what stage we are at life, because I think we can meet with this at any stage in our lives. But we meet within that place within ourselves where we become our own parent, our own internal mother and father. And this, for some people, might not happen until some people, they might spend their lives near their family, and that might not happen until their members of their family pass away, and then they approach this process. So it's sort of a process of releasing yourselves, I guess, from that dynamic. And I think it's, at this time of our story, I think it's really an important thing to meet within ourselves, because it's probably the most profound way that we can see all the threads that are beautifully but maybe intricately woven around and within ourselves, that are, people call it conditioning. There's lots of ways to describe it, but I guess, how we have become threaded together, um, through our lineage energy, through our immediate um, life energy that we've experienced together as we evolve as families, and and then those innate kind of belief systems that we create within ourselves, often as a result of just characters, personalities meeting within the family, and shaping an inherent sort of often struggle within yourself, as to how to navigate certain things. We create safety mechanisms, we create ways um, to deal with that which we don't really know how to deal with when when we're small. Um, and for me personally, I've had different stages of my life where I've stepped away from family, come back, stepped away again. And this time feels more potent than all of the others. And I wonder whether it's because of the intensity of of what I feel we're going through collectively as a human race, really. The depth of evolution and the sort of the opportunity for just incredibly deep healing that is available at the moment. And I think we can reach into those places right now that just might not have been accessible to us before. And so what I'm recognizing is that it feels different this time leaving. It feels like almost like consciously cutting an umbilical cord, I guess, consciously stepping beyond anything that I have. So it's like just the movement or the action of stepping away this time around feels like an intention to really understand and take ownership of everything that I have taken on board, that I have created and recreated and embodied and um, become imprisoned by, or become uh, minimized by, that wasn't necessarily, I don't want to say mine because it's obviously a part of my story, but it wasn't it wasn't an inherent part of my nature or my essence as such. It is a part of me. There is an understanding, there is a requirement for understanding that it is a part of me, full ownership of that. And it's also, important to say that I'm really, if proud is the right word, but I really have a deep heartfelt love for my lineage, of all of my family's lineage. The beautiful stories, unfoldings, but also the trauma that we share and the difficulties that we share, and the joy that we share. So it's, yeah, I feel like I'm rambling a bit, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, it feels different this time. It feels deeper. It feels like a more intentional time for, not just kind of recognizing that there are some layers to meet with, but recognizing the fullness, the full capacity of how this persona has been created. And that's not to say that I'm trying to not intentionally trying to push anything away at all, or to say that any of these aspects of self are, sort of negative or unwanted. But it's just witnessing and recognizing that within the realm of self-mothering and self-parenting, self-fathering, that there is an innate imbalance when there's a narrative, when there's a consistent narrative replaying, which prevents the fluidity of what actually is true, true within the nature. So, for example, if I want to make a decision and it feels difficult to make that decision, why does it feel difficult? Does it feel difficult because of, I'm confused about the actual decision, or is it difficult because there's a narrative running in the subconscious which is questioning the truth of what is actually just wanting to arise? And that narrative can sort of downplay or take apart something that could be really very simplified. And yeah, I think that this feels really revelatory for me in that, I'm 44 years old, and there's a lot of narratives that I have going on. And the thing is, they're not necessarily imposed intentionally by anyone else. It's really an experience of what I have told myself often, stories that I have told myself because of how I've perceived the world. So from my experience, I have seen or heard or understood something to be a certain way, and I've reflected that back upon myself. But that's not necessarily what the people around me were thinking or feeling. But as a very highly sensitive child, I was reflecting it back to myself as this belief system or this narrative. And so, yes, what is coming up today must be aligned with this, I'm sure, hopefully. I'm going to allow energy to come through and just see what's coming. But I think that it's going to be connected to self-mothering, self-witnessing, self-parenting, and the challenges that are involved, I guess, in that sense. So I'm just going to allow the energies to come through. I am Metatron and Katumi, Lady Nada, Mary Magdalene, Yeshua, and Kuan Yin. We are here to offer a blessing as we build to this moon. And we wish to offer you some insight and clarity around this time. There is energy that is arising for the collective, a frequency emitted from the heart of Mother Earth. And it speaks of that which is contrast, that which is seemingly in opposition. It may be very clearly seen in the world around you, or you may become very aware of the internal source of this manifestation of energy. And the contrast is important. It is that which in the self which speaks of separation. Separation from self, separation from the union with God's self, and separation from community, others, oneness. Whenever you see waves breaking in the ocean, two currents moving towards one another, and the waves clash together. Sometimes you see this as the tide rolls in onto the beach, and it creates a disturbance underneath the water, which pushes up and outwards, and the spray creates a beautiful array of water in the air. That is kind of what is happening with these energetic forces within us at the moment. They are colliding, but they are creating something beautiful, not yet to be understood perhaps, but to be witnessed. It may feel very uncomfortable. It may feel disorienting. However, it is important. The contrast will speak of something that you are carrying within yourself that is unknown. Something that may be familiar, but that you haven't fully understood as of yet. And so this arises with great oppositional energy, so that it can no longer be misunderstood or ignored, so that you can really see very clearly how you hold yourself in two separate shapes. This often comes about from the healing of the inner child, where the self, the essence or the nature of self, the natural being, wishes with great urgency to feel and move and be guided in a direction of that which feels very fluid and organic. And yet the inner child pulls away from this experience to create safety. And it will probably be in a way that's very repeated within the being, with very repeated throughout the lifetime, pulling away or pushing away or manipulating a situation so that it feels safer, or somehow altering the outcome of something so that it is smaller, lesser, more approachable, or perhaps simply saying no and shutting down and not being available. So there are so many ways that we can create these safety mechanisms. And this is done by the inner child to feel held, to feel embodied, to feel hopeful. And unfortunately, over time, what happens is that these safety mechanisms actually create the opposite. They create a more disembodied state, less sense of self, and less understanding of self, and a fracturing, which can ultimately lead to soul loss, which can lead to great discomfort in the body and sometimes disease. So this is a journey of regathering, of allowing this contrast to be witnessed and understood with awareness, with compassion, with great love. We are not trying to change it, because change happens naturally. Awareness is all we need. Once we allow ourselves full awareness with the intention of compassion, change occurs naturally. If we learn how to witness ourselves and love ourselves, then we become. We are in a constant state of becoming. But with this potent tool of awareness and compassion, this state of becoming is just sped up, and it is more open, more grounded, and it is bountiful. It allows for the potential of the greatest opening of self and the true heart dynamic. We are all at once the mother, the father, and the child. We are the Holy Trinity in all things. We are the sacred number 3. And everything that we carry within us is shared. Allow yourself to understand that as you believe and trust and hold space for your true nature, for your true feelings, for all that you carry within you, know that you are aligning with your highest self. Allow yourself now to imagine the highest aspect of yourself as a starlight above your crown, shining brightly and steadily, a bright golden light. Feel this starlight now traveling around your body, straight down towards the ground, in a shape of a pyramid, meeting with 2 stars down on the ground, so that they meet with the ground before they travel horizontally across beneath your body, creating a beautiful pyramid of energy around your body. Now allow that beautiful energy to become an actual 3-dimensional shape of a pyramid around your entire being. Filled with golden light, Become aware of the light flowing down now from your highest self into the pyramid, filling this entire pyramid and your whole body with source light. Allow your body to be bathed in this source light. Every cell in your body opening up to drink in this light. Feel the divine shape of the pyramid around you. Feel its sacred energy. Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, Goddess Mother, rising up beneath the pyramid, rising up, rising up, rising up. And as her energy approaches, we feel it touching the edges of the base of the pyramid. Its beautiful, powerful, nurturing energies. Holding the pyramid, grounding the pyramid, drawing us deeper into the pyramid's sacred energies. At the same time, we feel the energy of Father Sky, the great divine masculine power, the light of the heavens, descending down, traveling downwards. And we feel it gently folding itself around the top of the pyramid and down the sides, so that we are bathed, cloaked, held in this light. And all at once, the energy within the pyramid begins to soak in the energy of Mother Earth and Father Sky all at once. So that there is a complete and beautiful balance of the divine masculine and the divine feminine being drawn in, drawn in. Meeting with our soul energy, our source and soul energy, becoming one dynamic, beautiful all that is universal flow. And as we welcome all these energies, we become aware of the children of our soul, the parts of us that wish to speak, that wish to be heard, that wish to be seen, that wish to be expressive in their wholeness, no longer kept at bay. And we welcome them in this place of illumination under this light of the moon, the incoming moon. We welcome them, their presence a great blessing, their deeper emotions a great wisdom, a forgotten wisdom. And as we welcome them, they join us all around within the sacred chamber of the pyramid. And we feel the fullness of ourselves, the presence of ourselves with great peace. Trust that in this space we are being mothered, and we are being fathered, and we are being parented, and we are being loved, and we are being held. Trust that in this space there is birth and death, that there is eternity. There is a deep and great knowing that we have surrendered already to our fullness, and that we are now just taking a step forward into that truth. And if you wish to make a statement to that part of yourself which wishes to arise, which wishes to be known, I welcome you, I love you, we are whole. I welcome you, I love you, we are whole. I welcome you, I love you, we are whole. Slowly and gently allow the pyramid and its dazzling light to dissipate, just revealing the star above your crown. That's the only light that remains. And within that star holds the gratitude, the depth of gratitude for all that is, and all that has been, and all that is coming. We love you, all is well. Know that we carry you in all moments. Ask for help whenever necessary, and feel treasured. and that they didn't say it during that channeling, but I had the sense that perhaps there is something that will come through tomorrow, which will be complementary somehow. Perhaps it will give more depth or understanding to what we have experienced today. That meditation sort of being the starting point, perhaps, for something further. I feel like it's laying the foundation, perhaps, for a soul retrieval. That's my feeling, but let's just wait and see. But yes, I wanted to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for everybody who's watching. It's wonderful to be able to share this energy. It feels like everything makes a bit more sense when this energy is being shared, because it seems, I don't even know what the word is, it seems like futile or redundant or obsolete somehow, that these beautiful energies being here and being present. And I've for a long time I've had access and the benefit of so much support and so much of their power and presence and compassion and light. And and I obviously I've shared as much as I can one-on-one with people and in some workshops, but it just makes more sense that this is a more collective experience. And because it's always been a question for me, like, what do I do with this? It's so big and so beautiful, and it needs more of a platform. And I guess I've just been building that foundation to be able to offer that in a different way. It didn't feel fluid before. It didn't feel as natural, and so I guess it's just timely. But I just want to say thank you to anybody who's watching, for being you, for being here, for being curious, intuitive, introspective, for caring for each other, for being brave and strong, for being unique. Being alive at this time is not easy, and I just want to send you all my love, and I hope that this energy has brought you something today. So much love. Take care. Until next time.